been thinking lately, there is a lot of weird-ass NBA team names. And granted, you could probably say that for all sports, but I don't give a fuck about other sports. I care about the NBA. Today's video, we're going to talk about them. I'm going to give them a loose ranking. Don't die on any of these hills. We're just going to have fun in today's video. Hey, what's up? This is EYESO Plays. Welcome to the channel. Typical YouTube shit. Like and subscribe. But let's get back into it. So let's start with a classic. A team I'm going to have to put in the B tier. The Boston Celtics. Now, I was really torn on this because the Celtics, they're iconic. You know, they're one of the teams that just, you know exactly with the NBA. But the reason why I had to drop them down from the A tier for me, and here's the thing a lot of people don't realize. It's not supposed to be pronounced Celtic. It's actually Celtic. It starts with the C. And it's supposed to be a whole Irish thing because, you know, it's Boston or whatever. So that's very confusing and weird to me. But that's the only real knock I can give to them because otherwise the team's iconic. It's Boston, you know, they got a lot of that Irish heritage there. And real quick, I'll go through it as I go through the different teams. There are certain things that I give bonus points for and certain things that I knock off. And they're all very arbitrary and you could argue any of them. But a huge thing for me that gives bonus points is when the team name is somehow synonymous with the actual state. And I'm sure you're like, oh, well, yeah, that should be obvious. Well, we're going to get into it. There's some team names that have nothing to do with the state or city or anything at all. And it just doesn't make any sense. And sometimes that's okay, but a lot of times it's not. So Celtics, they're a solid B. You know, I'll give them a B+. They're very close to the A tier. Now, let's go to a team I'm going to put in the D tier, and people are going to be mad about it. But the Knicks, and here's the reason why. They're actually the Knickerbockers. But no one ever calls them. No one. There's not a single person who refers them to that. They're just the Knicks. And that's fine. But why have that be the actual name? And it's dumb. I don't understand it. You could say that it's iconic or whatever, but I don't really fuck with it. Just what? It's iconic because it's been around forever? Slavery was around forever. That's not iconic. So I don't get the team name. I don't fucks with it. Everyone loves the Knicks, but the name is just stupid as hell if you ask me. So let's go over, you know, we'll stay in that same city. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to give them a C-. I was going to give them a D, but the only reason why I give them a pass is before they were the Brooklyn Nets, they were the New Jersey Nets. And another thing I'm going to give bonus points, and again, this is all arbitrary, and you can say this is dumb, but I like the alliteration of the New Jersey Nets. It rolls off your tongue. Now, what else could they be now that they're Brooklyn? I don't know. The Brooklyn Tims? I don't know, but definitely something better than the Nets. Like, that doesn't... Yeah, it's basketball related, I guess, but it's like the most boring part about basketball is the net. Like, I don't understand the appeal of it. All right, this is going to really piss some people off, including my buddy Philly Flav. But the 76ers, I'm going to give them a D. I'm going to give them a D+. And here's the reason why. And when I even brought this up to him and he got mad about it, but I'm going to die on this hill. No one ever calls them the 76ers. They call them the Sixers. And I think that's fucking dumb. If you have a team name that no one actually ever uses the full team name, that's a dumb name. And like I get it, like, oh, 1776, you know, found the Constitution, yada yada. Like, no. Also, like, that doesn't inspire fear and that's the thing. You want the team name to inspire fear, like, oh no, history class. Like, that's just not intimidating. I will say their jerseys look cool, and again, Philly, I understand the history, so I can't, that's why they get a D+. But I can't give them any higher than that. The Toronto Raptors. This one, you know, I'm really torn on, because again, you know, I always say there should be some heritage with it. And again, I'm going to let y'all know now, there was minimal research done into any of these origin teams. I ain't got fucking time for that. I just need to surf, and that also, I think, plays into it. I shouldn't have to do a crazy deep dive to understand why your team name is what it is. So, the Toronto Raptors, I'm going to give them a B- because I have no idea if there was a shit ton of velociraptors or dinosaurs in Canada. Maybe. I don't care. But the reason why I'm giving them this high of a ranking is fucking dinosaurs are cool and scary, dog. Like, that goes back to the whole what I was saying. You want a menacing, team name that strikes fear into them. And also, I'll say back in the day when they had Chris Bosh, he kind of looked like a dinosaur. So that just, added into it. They have the cool colorway jerseys. They have the dopest mascot. So, yeah, they're a solid-ass team name. Now, the pinnacle, the A++, I almost want to put them in their own tier of their own, S tier. I got to give it to the Chicago Bulls. They are the definition of iconic. And yeah, Jordan played into that. I can't deny that. That had a lot to do with it. But just a bull, it's menacing. It's going to come in and break down your house and fuck shit up. It's just, I think, hands down, in my opinion, the best NBA team name that's out there. This one, I'm a little torn on, so I'm just going to stick with my gun, put him right in the middle, and put him as a C. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Because I got to give him bonus points again. I love the alliteration. That's always cool. Cavalier sounds really cool. I always thought it was like an adjective, like, oh, you're acting so like a cavalier or whatever. I don't even fully understand what it is, and so that's why I'm going to knock him points. I don't think anyone in Cleveland is a cavalier. Maybe it has something to do with their history, but the name itself, it sounds really cool, but I feel like it doesn't fit with the team near as much as people think. The Atlanta Hawks, solid A-. I can't really complain about it that much. It's a fierce bird soaring in the sky like a hawk. Like, the only thing scarier than a hawk in my mind as far as birds go is like an eagle or a falcon, and those are football teams. One of them is also in Atlanta. So Atlanta's got that bird shit on lock. And I kind of wish more teams would do that. Like, as in all the teams across all of the sports have the same similar theme. I feel like that gives another sense of unity that you could have. And then also maybe even this, it doesn't have to be the same colorways, but I don't know. That's just a whole other side tangent. I think more states should try to unify all their team names because I think that's just really fucking cool. Especially if you're a big fan of, birds of prey and whatnot. The Indiana Pacers. I'm sorry, they're just a solid D. When I hear the Pacers, it makes me think of pacemakers or I'm not sure how many of y'all had to do this. I think they got rid of it because of child cruelty or whatever, but having to do the pace test or whatever in school where you'd have to run back and forth and the time that you could get between the laps got shorter and shorter, and you did as much as you could until kids started puking. That's what I think of when I think of the Indiana Pacers, which makes me sad because Indiana's rich in basketball history. I feel like they could come up with, I don't know, any other name. It just seems like it's a very, very weak name. The Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to give them a solid A- and maybe even a B+, because Milwaukee, deer, fear the deer. It's, hella cold and they got woods. They got the wildlife up there. That fits with it, and it's intimidating. Did y'all see that Chris Paul commercial where there was that giant buck that came in and fucking kicked down in his garage? Also, I find that really funny because that came out a year or two ago, and then the Bucks stomped Chris Paul in his dreams against the Suns. So it's some weird, eerie, prophetic shit. I don't know. That's again a little side tangent, but the Bucks, man, that's an awesome fucking team name. The Detroit Pistons. Another A tier, man. Just a solid A. Detroit, Motor City, that's what they're known for. And Pistons, it's rather be pistoned than pissed on. I don't know. It fits with the griminess, and especially back when they were the bad boy Pistons. I just love that name. And I feel they'll always be associated with that down and dirty griminess. But I love it, and I'm totally here for it. That's another phenomenal classic team name, in my opinion. The Charlotte Hornets. See, this one I'm really torn on because I got conflicting, I've already explained some of my ideologies. Let's be honest, a Hornet. Hornets are fucking scary. I don't want to be stung by one of them bitches. They'll keep on doing it. So that's really cool. But then also when you think about a team, it's just oh yeah, we're just going to keep stinging you. That's not going to beat a fucking bull when you really compare it to it. Now, back when they were the Bobcats, I would much rather take on a Hornets nest than a Bobcat. And I have no idea how much Hornets are in Charlotte, but if there's that many Hornets and Bobcats for them to have both names, I ain't going to Charlotte. Sorry to baby. So, Another A tier that I gotta give, the Miami Heat. I just love it so much. Miami, it's fucking hot. They got that heat. The logo itself is just a flaming basketball. I feel it's like what the Nets are trying to do, but it's way fucking cooler because the name actually has something to do with the city. And it's just, again, it's iconic. It just screams and oozes sexy. And I absolutely love that. Orlando Magic. I'm going to have to give them a B tier. The name, it makes sense, Disney, it's all magical and whatnot. I get it. But again, it's also just magic itself. Like, I don't know, that's just like a weird idea. It's not an object. It's not an animal or a person. Like, it's just very weird and arbitrary. It's just a word. Definitely doesn't strike any fear. I will say that their mascot, though, Puff the Dragon, fucking phenomenal. I lied. He's probably my favorite mascot over the Raptor. Just because he's so lovable. Now, on the flip side, let's keep on the same theme. The Washington Wizards. This is, again, I'm torn on because it's conflicting. Because I'm sure you're being like, oh, well, Dom, they ain't got no wizards up out there. And it's all I'm going to say is, as far as you know, how do you know these Wizards ain't doing magic to make you forget about them? Because I forgot about the team for a while. I'll admit that. So I guess I just have to throw them in the B tier because it sounds cool. At least it's an actual thing. And I wouldn't want to face off against a pissed off Wizard. Turn my ass into a toad or some shit. Wizards fans, if you are magical, don't fuck with me, please. The Denver Nuggets. Oh, the Nuggets. I struggled with this one. I had to set my homerism and biases aside. And I'm going to give them a C+. And here's why I can give them the C+. It's awesome that it's the Nuggets, like the gold rush or whatever, nuggets of gold. I totally get where that's coming from. I love the pickaxe in our logo and whatnot. That's cool. My issue, if you're ever just on Twitter and you just type in Nuggets, you're never going to get anything pulled up basketball related. It's all people just talking about Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets or McDonald's nuggets. And then also locks us in, how like fast food companies like to partner with sports teams for free promotional food. It's always fucking nuggets. You never get a free sandwich. No, it's go get the free nuggets. And I'm a fucking grown man. Sometimes I want a sandwich, not fucking nuggets like I'm 5. Anyways, it tarnishes the name a little bit. Like, we're related to child's food. And it's not near as cool as it could be. I miss back when we were the Rockets. I'll transfer over to them and give them the reign in a second. But that name was way cooler. But I will say, Houston Rockets, solid B+. They definitely earned that name. They have NASA there. They shot up like a rocket. The only team to win during the Jordan era. Granted, it was when he retired, but still, that counts for something. It's another iconic name. I'm just subtracting a little bit because I feel like Houston could have a lot of other really cool names as well. Oklahoma City Thunder. They're an F tier. And here's the why they're an F tier. Because it should be the Seattle Supersonics, god damn it. I don't care how Oklahoma City might have thunderstorms. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Seattle Supersonics, they would have been in super S tier if they were here. They had the coolest name. They had the word super built into it. The neon yellow and green. Other than the Nuggets, that would have been my favorite team. I'm still salty about it. That's probably going to be the only team I put in the F tier. And I know it's biased. I don't give a fuck. The Minnesota Timberwolves. I got to keep the same energy. Otherwise, Philly Flav's going to get mad at me. I have to put them in D tier. Because no one calls them the Timberwolves. Everyone calls them the T-Wolves or the Wolves. Okay. You know what? Actually, I'm going to revise a little bit. They get a C- just because wolves are actually fucking scary. It's not just a number. So I'll at least give them that. And again, they're hella cold and crazy. I'm sure there's hella wolves there. So I'll give them that. But other than that, they ain't fucking doing shit. I'm not worried about them in the slightest. But still a cool name. The San Antonio Spurs. I'm going to have to give them a C-. I get it, whole cowboy Texas thing, like Spurs. But again, it's a fucking object. Like, I would have much preferred the San Antonio Cowboys. And I get it, you have the Dallas Cowboys. But who gives a fuck? That would be way cooler. No one respects the Dallas Cowboys in football anyways from last time I checked. Might as well give it to San Antonio, the team that's won multiple championships. I feel like they deserve it way more of recent. And that's just facts in my opinion. The Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to give him a B+. Shout out my boy Luka. That name's just, it's cool. I want to be a Maverick. You know, it rolls off the tongue. Okay, I have to drop him. I have to give him a C+ actually. Because again, they're a team. They're always just called the Mavs. They're not called the Mavericks. And I know y'all going to really hound and harp on me about how that's a dumb thing. But I'm going to die on this hill. It's stupid if everyone always refers to it to a shortened name. So speaking of which, and this is the worst offender. So they're getting a D-, the Trailblazers. That name in theory, it sounds really cool. Hella trails in Oregon. Like, I get it. But they always are only called the Blazers. And not only are they always called the Blazers, you can look. I've checked through a myriad of jerseys. I can't find a single jersey that has the entire Trailblazers on the jersey at all. It always just says Blazers. You can't even fit the fucking name on your jersey? That's a bad name. And then let's talk, if you're just calling them the Blazers, like what? Like what you wear? I'm wearing a blade? Like, no. And I'm not scared of a fucking trail or someone who's blazing it. I blaze on trails all the time. I just get yelled at by cops. So not impressed. The Utah Jazz. This is another one I admit I don't have a lot of info on, so I'm just going to relegate them to the C-. I'm not sure if Utah has a big jazz scene, or maybe they relocated and they're originally from New Orleans or something, because that would make more sense. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Why the fuck are the New Orleans Hornets not the New Orleans Jazz? That makes way more fucking sense. I don't know if there's Hornets in Utah for them to name it that, but they should be like the Utah Mountains or the Utah Mormons or something. I don't fucking know, but definitely not the Jazz. And also, like, that's a type of music. That's not instilling any fear. Maybe if you get some really cool jazz bands to play at halftime, that'd be cool. But other than that, it's just a weird name. I don't like it. Not for Utah. Doesn't make much sense to me. Another team name that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, the LA Clippers. Like what the fuck? Are we talking nail clippers or something? Like, I think that's why the team's cursed. They have such a shitty name. That's why no sponsors are coming out to build them an arena. They're like, we don't want to be associated with nail clippers. And I have no idea if that's what it really is. But why the fuck has that name not been changed? I feel it would do so much for their branding for them to just have a cooler name. There's not much more I can say. They're D-. They're borderline almost in the F tier. Because and the only reason why I'm not putting them in the F tier is maybe there's some crazy history that makes it really cool, but I doubt it. It's just a stupid ass name. Another team, I'm going to put them, and people are going to hate it. I was going to put them in the D tier, but I can't just because of the iconicness of it. Lakers are going in C tier. And here's why. And this one, I naturally already know the history on. Don't think I did special research just to hate on the Lakers. But they used to be the Minneapolis Lakers. And there's some fucking lakes there. So that makes sense. So then when they relocate, they just kept it because Minneapolis already had a bunch of titles. And if they had changed the name, then they don't get associated with that. Which is a weird thing. Like, all of the OKC Thunder's accolades, any of the ones that the Supersonics had, they don't count for them. They're separate teams because that they relocate and change the name. But if you just relocate and you keep the name, you get to keep all the accolades? That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's a different team entirely, different fan base, different arena. Like, I guess the players transfer over, but that doesn't mean shit. Anyways, I want to put them in D tier, but I don't need that many fucking Laker fans coming at me, so they're getting a C-. The Golden State Warriors. I'm going to put them in a solid B++. I can't give them much higher because you could argue there's not much Warriors other than like social justice warriors in Cali. But that's still a badass classic name. That the logo's dope. Like a warrior, yeah, that's something you want going into battle. I get it, it's a sport, but again, I'm always gonna ride or die for those fierce sort of team names. Which also, and this is surprising because they're the worst team in California, but I'm gonna have to give the Sacramento Kings an A. Because being a king, being royalty, like, that's dope. I think it would be cool if there was a team called, like, the Jokers as well, too. Or, like, the Jacks. Or if it was a women's team, the Queens. Like, all of those are always going to be classic in my mind. Or, like, the Royals. So, the Kings, yeah. They have the best team name, but worst team in California. And I just find that ironic, but funny as fuck. The Phoenix Suns. The last team I'm going to put in A tier. Again, it's just classic. It fits with them. It's Phoenix. It's a fucking desert. The sun's there a lot. It makes sense. Okay, actually, I'm going to give them an A-. And the only reason why is that the Phoenix Suns, I feel, is very close to the Miami Heat, especially like their logo. Like, the Miami Heat is a basketball that's on fire. The Suns, it's a sun that has a basketball in it that's on fire. Like, I know Miami came first, so it's kind of feel like they're jocking their style, but also, like, what else is Phoenix supposed to do? The Phoenix, Arizona Iced Teas? No, I mean, they should sponsor their jerseys, though, if they're not. That would be really cool. But, especially, could you imagine a Phoenix jersey that has the Arizona Iced Tea, like, logo imprint, like, that crazy old 80s design? I think that'd be fresh as fuck. Maybe that's just me. The Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to have to give them a C, and the only reason why is originally the Memphis Grizzlies, they were the Vancouver Grizzlies. And that team name made way more sense. There's fucking Grizzlies up there in Canada. I don't think Memphis has too many Grizzlies. So the name kind of doesn't make much sense. I'm going to give them a slight pass because, again, Grizzlies are menacing as fuck, and you can't... Why get away from that? But also, they're another team, I feel, Memphis is entrenched, in so much music. They should have, like, a music theme name. I don't know what, but I think it would be probably cooler than the Grizzlies. And the very last team, and I lied, this is probably the only other team I'm going to put in F tier, and they fucking deserve it because the name is fucking dumb, is the Pelicans. What the fuck is a pelican? I ain't fucking afraid of a pelican. That shit don't... No. Oh, and I fucked up earlier. I just realized and we're leaving it in. It's the Charlotte Hornets. No. The New Orleans should be the Jazz, not the fucking Pelicans. No one's scared of a pelican. All these other teams are fucking it up. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not around a lot of pelicans. Maybe they're like meaner, bigger geese. But either way, they're just not intimidating. The logo looks dumb. The mascot you're going to have is dumb. I'm just saying, can we just relocate the Pelicans to fucking Seattle so we can have the Supersonics back? I'm still on that train. All right, y'all. Today was just a silly video. Don't take any of this to heart. I love all of the teams, and they all have something dumb about them or something really cool about it. But I don't know. Y'all let me know. Did I miss anything? Is there any teams that you would rank differently that you think are a little bit better? And don't be biased. Don't care about how good the team is. Think about just, does the name make sense? Because a lot of them, they really don't. All right. Love y'all. Good day, gang. I'm out.